to
English Channel!
Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is really great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
Today we're taking a little break from the usual stuff, the big global trends and all the complex tech talk. We're going to focus on something much more personal. We're zooming right in on a single moment. It's maybe 60 seconds long that I think causes more anxiety for people than almost anything else.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. It's a bold claim, but I have a feeling I know the exact moment.
You do. It's that moment, you walk into an interview. Or maybe you're logging onto a Zoom call for a new job.
Right.
You're wearing your best shirt. You've checked your hair. You've done all the research on the company. You sit down. The interviewer looks at you. They smile. And then they ask the one question that just makes your brain, completely shut down.
So tell me about yourself.
That's the one. Ugh. Just hearing you say it gives me a little jolt of adrenaline. It sounds so simple, doesn't it?
It sounds like the easiest question in the world.
Right. I know myself better than anyone, so why does that one little question feel like you're standing at the edge of a cliff?
Well, it's what they call the paradox of choice. The question is so open-ended that the number of things you could say is, like, infinite.
Yeah, where do you even start?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do they want to hear about my childhood, my dog, my university grades? And because there are no, guardrails, your brain just panics.
Yeah.
It's trying to find the one right answer in a sea of a million wrong ones.
Oh, that's so true. I remember one of my first interviews, I just started rambling. I think I talked about where I grew up, how much I liked hiking.
Hiking. Okay.
Yeah. And I could literally see the interviewer's eyes glazing over, but I couldn't stop myself.
Yeah.
Like a car with no brakes just going downhill.
And that is the exact thing we want to help you, our listeners, avoid today. We're doing a deep dive into a really fantastic resource. It's the Mr. English Channel podcast series. We're looking at parts 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
And they have broken this whole problem down in a way that's so practical, especially for English learners.
That's right. Our mission today is to give you a cheat code.
I love that. A cheat code.
Me too. Because it means there's a system. This isn't about just being naturally charming or being a huge extrovert.
No, not at all.
It's about having a formula. And the source material promises that if you follow the structure, you can give a perfect answer in under 60 seconds.
And that is the absolute key under 60 seconds. The goal is to move you from that feeling of nervousness to real confidence and to make sure you never, ever ramble again.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Before we can build the perfect answer, I think we have to look at the demolition phase first.
Right, what not to do.
Exactly. We have to understand why people crash and burn. The source material points out 3 really common mistakes. And I have to admit, reading through them was a little painful for me.
Oh.
Because I've definitely made at least 2 of them.
Only 2. You're probably doing better than most of us then.
Let's start with the root cause, which the source calls the trap of nervousness. They share this great little story about a candidate who played the guitar.
Oh, yes, the guitarist. This is a perfect example of what happens when your fight or flight response kicks in.
Okay.
You're sitting in that chair, your cortisol is spiking, you feel unsafe. And what does your brain do? It grabs onto a security blanket. For this person, that security blanket was their hobby playing guitar.
Because it's comfortable, they know about guitars, they can talk about chords and music without thinking.
Exactly. It's a safe topic. So they ended up spending 10 minutes talking about their band, their practice schedule, the kind of guitar they owned. And to them, it felt great because they were speaking confidently.
But they completely forgot the context.
Completely. The context is, I'm here to get a job as an accountant or whatever the role was.
The interviewer doesn't need a new bandmate.
Precisely. They're looking for an employee. By the time the candidate stopped talking, the entire opening of the interview was wasted on, totally irrelevant information. They didn't mention a single professional skill.
And that's the tragedy of it. You can speak perfect English, be really fluent, and still fail because you just didn't have a structure.
Structure is the absolute antidote to rambling.
Okay, so that's the general problem of nervousness. Now let's get into the specifics. Mistake number 1 is what the source calls the laundry list.
The laundry list.
Right.
This is probably the most common one, especially for people who have prepared.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they think, okay, they want to know about my career, so they just start from the beginning, chronologically.
In 2010, I did this. Then in 2012, I did that. In 2014, I moved here.
It sounds like you're reading a shopping list.
Yeah.
Milk, eggs, bread, cheese. It is so, so boring.
But hold on, let me play devil's advocate for a second. If they ask, tell me about yourself, isn't my history part of the answer? Why is listing my history a bad thing?
It's a mistake because of one word: redundancy.
Redundancy.
The interviewer has your resume, your CV, right there in front of them.
Yeah.
They can read the dates. They can see the timeline. If you just recite that out loud, you're not adding any new value. You're
Watch
just...
an audiobook version of the paper.
Yep, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And it's robotic. It doesn't tell a story. It doesn't explain why you moved from Job A to Job B or what you really learned there. It's just data points.
Yeah.
And human brains are terrible at remembering lists of data points. We just tune out.
So if you want to be memorable, don't be a robot. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which brings us to mistake number 2. This is kind of the opposite of the robot. This is the too personal mistake.
Yes. The boundary crosser.
The source had a hilarious example for this one. The cat ant.
The cat ant. I love this one. This is the person who hears, "Tell me about yourself,"
Yeah.
and thinks it means, "Let's be best friends."
Right.
So they launch into their family drama or their health issues or, my aunt has 5 cats and I have to go over and feed them every Tuesday.
And the source is very clear. The employer does not need to know that your aunt has 5 cats.
Unless...
Unless you're applying for a job as a cat sitter.
Exactly. If you're applying to a veterinary clinic, maybe it's relevant. But for 99% of jobs, it's just noise.
I think this one can be especially tricky for English learners because in different cultures, that line between personal and professional is, well, it's in a different place.
That's a really important point. In many cultures, sharing personal details is how you build trust and rapport. It shows you're open.
Right.
But in the context of, let's say, a typical Western English-speaking business interview, leading with that kind of domestic detail can make it seem like you don't have good professional judgment.
It's often seen as TMI, too much information.
So the rule of thumb is just to keep it relevant to the job. You can show personality, for sure, but maybe keep the cats at home.
Precisely.
Okay, now for mistake number 3. This one is a bit like the laundry list, but it goes back even further in time. The source calls this one the life story.
Right. The David Copperfield approach.
I was born in a small village in 1995.
Starting from birth, it seems logical, right?
Yeah, you asked about me, so I'll start at the beginning of me. But you have to put yourself in the interviewer's shoes. They're busy. They have a problem they need to solve, which is an empty job role. They need to know quickly if you are the person who can solve that problem.
And knowing I was born in a small village doesn't help them with that?
Not at all. It just wastes time. And that time is so valuable. You have maybe 60 seconds to make that first impression. If you spend 30 of those seconds on your childhood geography, you've just wasted half your capital.
It's brutal when you put it like that. Time is money.
In an interview, time is definitely money. You have to get to the good stuff, your skills, your value immediately.
Okay. So we've navigated the minefield. We know what not to do.
Right?
Don't list dates like a robot.
Good.
Don't talk about your aunt's cats. And please do not start with your birth certificate.
You've cleared the debris. Now we can start building the house.
This brings us to the core formula. And honestly, the structure the source material outlines is so simple, I can't believe I never thought of it this way before. It's called present, past, future.
It is so elegant in its simplicity. Present, past, future. It provides a narrative, a story that the human brain finds really easy to follow.
Let's break it down step by step. Step 1 is the present. The source calls this the snapshot.
I love that idea. A snapshot. Imagine I'm taking a professional photo of you right now. Click. What's in that picture?
The source actually lists 3 specific things that should be in that snapshot.
Okay.
Component 1 is your current role. Component 2 is your main responsibility. And component 3 is one big recent achievement.
That trio is so powerful, it immediately answers, who are you? What do you do? And are you any good at it?
And it does it right away. You're not building up to it. You're leading with the most important information.
Yes. Compare that with the life story mistake.
Right.
You might not even mention your current job until, 3 minutes in? With the snapshot approach, it's the very first thing you say.
The source also points out some key vocabulary here, some best friend phrases for this section. Words like currently, right now, and at the moment.
These are great signal words. When you start with currently, you're grounding the entire conversation in the immediate present. You're telling the listener, okay, focus here on the now.
Let's look at the case studies from the source, because I think seeing it in action really helps. First, they have an example for an experienced professional, a senior graphic designer.
Okay, let's break down their snapshot. The example is, I'm a senior graphic designer at ABC Studio, where I lead a team of 3 people, and we focus on creating brand identities for tech companies.
That is so tight. It's one sentence.
But look how much information is packed in there.
Yeah.
Your role, senior graphic designer, your responsibility, leading a team of 3, and your specialization, brand identities for tech companies. In what, 10 seconds? I know exactly who you are professionally.
Okay, but I can already hear some of our listeners thinking, that's great if you have a fancy job title like that.
Right.
But what if I'm a student? What if I'm a recent graduate and I don't really have a job right now?
This is a huge source of anxiety for so many people, that imposter syndrome feeling. But the source has a specific version of the formula just for students or job seekers.
Okay, let's look at that one. The example is a recent graduate from the University of London.
And their script goes something like this. I am a recent graduate from the University of London with a degree in marketing. Right now, I'm focusing on building my skills in digital advertising and looking for my first professional role.
There's a really subtle but powerful shift in language there. Right now, I'm focusing on...
It's a brilliant way to reframe it. Instead of saying I'm unemployed, which sounds passive and maybe a bit desperate,
Yeah.
you say I'm focusing on building skills. It sounds active. It sounds intentional.
You're turning that waiting period into a growth period.
Exactly. And then, I'm looking for my first professional role. It states your goal clearly. So even if you're not getting a paycheck, you can define your present with total confidence.
Okay, so that's step 1, the present. We've taken the snapshot. Now we move to step 2, the past.
Or, as the source calls it, how I got here.
Now, you warned us earlier about the laundry list mistake. This feels like the danger zone where people might fall back into just reading their resume. How do we avoid that?
The source uses a great metaphor here. The bridge.
The bridge.
Yeah. The past section isn't supposed to be a history lesson. It's a bridge that connects where you were to where you are right now. You don't need to describe every single stone on the path. You just need to build the structure that gets the listener to the present moment.
And the most critical advice from the source here is about what you talk about. They say to focus on results.
Results over duties. This is such a key distinction. It's the difference between describing a task and describing the value you created.
Okay.
So the source gives a comparison. The weak version is, I worked at a bank.
Which tells me almost nothing, just that you had a job.
Exactly. It's passive. The strong version they suggest is, in my previous role at Global Bank, I helped over 200 clients manage their investments.
Helped 200 clients. That's a metric. That's a result you can measure.
It becomes a mini highlight reel. You're just picking 1 or 2 key moments from your past that prove you are qualified for whatever you're doing now. You're not listing every single day you showed up to work.
And grammar-wise, the advice is to keep it simple. Just use the past simple tense.
Yeah.
I studied, I worked, I managed, I developed. It's clear, it's punchy, it sounds professional and complete.
Now, I really want to spend a moment on this next idea because I think it's a total game changer, especially for anyone who's changing careers. It's the strategy of transferable skills.
Oh, this is essential. This is the answer to that huge worry. What if my past is irrelevant?
Right. I was waiter, but now I want an office job. Why would an office care that I used to carry plates?
It's a really common fear. If I'm applying for a marketing job, why would I talk about the 2 years I spent as a barista?
Exactly.
Well, the key is you don't talk about being a barista. You talk about the skills you needed to be a good barista. The source calls this the restaurant-to-office spin.
The restaurant-to-office spin. I like that. Just think about it for a second. What does a good waiter or barista actually do all day?
Well, they have to deal with customers who might be hungry or angry. They have to remember complicated orders. They have to move fast. They solve problems constantly, like when the kitchen runs out of something.
Exactly. Now let's translate those into business language.
Okay.
Dealing with angry people is conflict resolution. Remembering orders is attention to detail. Solving kitchen problems is crisis management or problem solving under pressure.
So your script isn't, I served coffee.
No.
Ever.
Your script is something like, previously I worked in the hospitality industry. That experience taught me how to communicate effectively and solve problems quickly.
Wow. That is genius. Communicate effectively and solve problems. I mean, every single office in the world needs those skills.
That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
The source emphasizes that there's really no such thing as irrelevant experience if you know how to translate it. You're just stripping away the context, the restaurant, and keeping the core soft skill.
So you're not trying to hide your past, you're just translating it for the interviewer.
Precisely. You're showing them that you're adaptable and that you've been building valuable skills all along.
Okay, so we have present, the snapshot. We have past, the bridge. That brings us to the final piece of the core formula. Step 3, the future.
Or why I'm here.
This part seems kind of obvious. I'm here because I want this job. But the source suggests it needs to be a little more sophisticated than that.
It does. This section is about two things: ambition and alignment.
Ambition and alignment.
Yes, employers want to see that you have a plan for yourself. But, more importantly, they want to know that they are a key part of that plan.
You don't want them to feel like they're just a random stop on your journey.
No, you want them to feel like they are the destination. The source calls this section the goal. Let's go back to that designer example. They're trying to move from a small studio to a larger company. Their script for the future is, moving forward, I'm looking to bring my design expertise to a larger international company like yours where I can contribute to global projects.
Moving forward, another one of those great transition phrases.
It signals the shift in time. And look at the logic there. I am leaving my small studio because I'm ready for bigger global projects. Your company does global projects, therefore I am here.
It's actually really flattering to the company. It shows you've done your research.
Exactly. It answers that unspoken question, why us, before they even have to ask it.
The source also gave a non-job example for meeting a new friend, which I thought was a nice way to show how this formula can work in a social setting, too.
Yeah, the person learning a new language. In the future, I hope to travel to South America, so I'm currently spending a lot of my free time learning Spanish.
It just closes the loop. If you just say, I'm learning Spanish, the next logical question is why.
Right.
But if you link it to a future goal, traveling to South America, it creates a complete, satisfying story.
It creates a narrative arc. And we humans, we love narrative arcs. We like to know where things are going.
And for the vocabulary, the source lists some very safe, very professional phrases. Things like,
I am looking to, or I hope to.
my goal is to.
I would like to. They're simple, probably B1 level phrases.
And that's a key point, isn't it? Especially for our listeners. You don't need super complex C2 level grammar to sound professional.
No, not at all. Simple and clear is almost always better in an interview. My goal is to work for a company like yours. I mean, that is a perfect sentence. There's no need to overcomplicate it.
Okay, so we have the core formula, present, past, future. If our listeners just stick to that, they're going to be fine. They'll have a solid answer.
They'll have a good answer, a solid B+.
But this is the deep dive. We don't aim for B+. We want the A+. We want to be memorable.
We want to be the candidate they're still talking about at lunchtime.
And this brings us to the advanced techniques. The source talks about a secret ingredient. They call it the hook.
The hook. Right. This is an idea that comes from marketing, from storytelling. A hook is that thing that grabs your attention and just won't let go.
So in the context of an interview, what does a hook look like?
It's a small, specific, and interesting detail about yourself that kind of breaks the professional monotony.
Okay.
You have to remember, interviewers hear the same things all day long. I'm a hard worker, I'm punctual, I'm a team player. It's just a gray wall of noise after a while. The hook is a splash of color on that gray wall.
The example from the source was the marathon runner.
Exactly. Imagine the candidate finishes their professional part, the present, past, future, and then they say, and outside of work, I'm a huge fan of marathon running. I've actually completed 3 marathons in 3 different countries.
Immediately, the whole energy in the room just changes.
It has to, because that's actually interesting. The interviewer instantly has follow-up questions. Oh, really? Which countries? What was your time? How do you even find the time to train for that?
It turns the candidate into a real 3-dimensional person.
And it builds rapport. If you can get the interviewer talking to you about running, or whatever your hook is, for just a minute or two, the tension in the room just melts away. You're connecting as people.
But here's the fear I think a lot of people have. I'm not a marathon runner. I'm boring. I just watch Netflix and eat pizza.
I think we all do that.
Yeah.
But the source makes a great point here. You don't have to be some kind of extreme athlete. The hook can be anything that shows passion or something distinctive about you.
So it doesn't have to be that dramatic.
Not at all. The other example they used was a tech geek who loves building computers. It could be that you bake amazing sourdough bread. It could be that you collect vintage postcards.
In the outro of the source, the host joked that their hook was that they could cook a 5-course meal in 30 minutes.
That is a fantastic hook.
Well-
It implies you're efficient, you're skilled, you can plan, and it's fun. I'd want to know more about that person.
So the goal isn't to impress them with an Olympic medal. It's just to give them a little something to remember you by. Oh, you mean the guy who bakes bread?
Exactly. Being memorable is half the battle.
The source also mentions something they call the why. This feels a little different from the hook.
It is. The why is about your professional passion. It's about framing your job as not just something you do for a paycheck, but as something that has a purpose.
The comparison they give is just excellent. Option A is you say, I am an accountant, which is a fact. It's true.
Option B is, I'm an accountant because I love helping small business owners understand their numbers so they can grow.
That gives me chills. It's so much more powerful.
It turns a dry job staring at spreadsheets into a mission helping people achieve their dreams. It tells the employer that you genuinely care about the outcome of your work.
And employers love people who care.
They absolutely do. Passion is contagious.
Okay, so we've got the formula present, past, future. We've got the advanced stuff, the hook, and the why. Let's put it all together now. The source provides a full role-play script for a sales associate. I think we should really dissect this line by line so our listeners can hear the rhythm and the logic in action.
Let's do it. This is the gold standard answer.
Okay, I'll be the candidate. I'm applying for a job as a sales representative. You ready?
Go for it.
Certainly. Currently, I am a sales associate at a local electronics store where I am responsible for helping customers find the right products.
Stop right there. That's the present. Who are you? A sales associate. Where? An electronics store. What do you do? Help customers. It's perfectly clear, concise. It sets the scene. Okay, next.
Before this, I graduated with a degree in business administration. During my studies, I worked part-time in a call center, which really helped me develop my communication skills.
And that's the past. Notice the transition word, before this.
Yeah.
And notice the bridge. They link their degree to their work experience.
And the transferable skill.
Yes, the transferable skill. The task was working in a call center, but the value is develop my communication skills. They didn't just say, I answered phones.
Right. Okay, next part. Moving forward, I'm very excited to transition into a B2B sales role. My goal is to work for a company like yours that values long-term client relationships.
And that is the future transition. Moving forward, the goal, B2B sales. And the fit, the alignment, values long-term client relationships. They're telling the company, I belong here because our values are the same.
And finally, the cherry on top. And on a personal note, I'm a bit of a tech geek. I love building my own computers in my spare time.
And there it is, the hook. It's personal in my spare time, but it's also very relevant.
Yeah, for an electronics sales job.
Exactly. It shows they're a nerd in the best possible way. They have a genuine passion for the products.
And the source points out something really amazing about this entire script.
The timing.
The whole thing, set at a normal, comfortable pace, takes exactly 55 seconds.
That is the absolute sweet spot. That 30 to 60-second window, you haven't bored them. You've told a complete story, you've shown your personality, and you've confidently handed the conversation back to the interviewer.
It really is a cheat code. It takes all the guesswork and the panic out of it.
What?
Oh no, here it comes, the but.
You knew it was coming. A script is only as good as its delivery. You can have the most perfect words on a page, but if you deliver them poorly, it just won't work.
This brings us to the final section, nonverbal delivery and body language. The how versus the what.
The source highlights 3 really specific tips here. And again, they sound so simple, but when you're nervous, they're the very first things to go out the window.
Tip number 1, eye contact.
This is so crucial. And, we should be culturally sensitive here. We know that in some cultures, sustained eye contact can be seen as aggressive or disrespectful.
Right, where you might look down to show respect.
Yes. But the source is very clear that for a typical English-speaking interview, say in the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, you absolutely must connect visually.
And if you don't, if you're looking at the floor the whole time, what does the interviewer think?
They think you're insecure. Or maybe even that you're hiding something. Why won't this person look at me? Are they lying? Eye contact signals confidence and trustworthiness.
You don't have to, stare at them without blinking, right?
No, please don't do that. That's just terrifying. Just natural, comfortable connection.
Okay, tip number 2, the smile.
This is like a biological hack. The source even mentions the idea of an audible smile.
An audible smile.
Yeah, even if you're on a phone interview where they can't see you, if you physically smile, it changes the shape of your mouth, and your voice actually sounds warmer and friendlier over the phone.
And in person, a smile is just a universal signal of peace, right?
It is. It makes you look approachable, like someone they would actually want to work with every day.
Right.
Remember, people hire people they like. A simple smile is the easiest way to be more likable.
And finally, tip number 3,
Speed.
slow down. This is my biggest problem. When I get nervous, I talk at 100 miles an hour. I just want to get the words out and be done.
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
It's the adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's in flight mode. It wants to run away. Talking fast is the verbal version of running. The source says, just remember to breathe.
And slowing down, it signals that you're in control.
It does. It says, I'm comfortable here. I am taking my time because I believe what I have to say is important. Rushing signals fear. Pausing signals confidence.
So, look at them. Smile and breathe.
Simple instructions, but they are hard to execute when you're under pressure, which is why.
Which is why you have to practice.
Exactly.
Wow, we have covered a huge amount of ground today. We've gone from, the sweaty palms of anxiety to a fully structured 55-second perfect pitch. Let's do a final checklist for everyone listening just to lock it all in.
Great idea.
Okay, the final checklist according to the source. Number 1, no life story. Start recent. Don't go back to the small village you were born in.
Number 2, use the formula. Present, past, future. Stick to that structure. It will be your safety net when your brain freezes.
Number 3, keep it short. Aim for that 30 to 60-second sweet spot.
Number 4, add a hook. Be human. Whether it's marathons or baking bread or building computers.
And number 5, this is the one we can't do for you.
Practice. Out. Loud.
You have to actually say the words right. You can't just write them down and think you're done.
Writing it down uses a totally different part of your brain. You need to build the muscle memory in your mouth. You need to get comfortable with the rhythm and the sounds of the English sentences you've created.
The source actually gives a homework assignment.
They do. They encourage you to sit down today, after this, and write your own present, past, future introduction.
Even if you don't have an interview scheduled for tomorrow, just have it ready.
Having that answer ready to go, just in your back pocket, will make you feel more confident in any situation where you have to introduce yourself.
I just want to say again how much I loved the playful closing the source used. The host saying he was going to work on his hook about cooking a 5-course meal in 30 minutes.
I'm still waiting for my dinner invitation for that one.
Me too. But it's just a great example of a memorable, fun detail. So to all our listeners out there, if you're preparing for that next big interview, or even if you just want to introduce yourself with more confidence at a party, you have the formula now. You have the cheat code.
The only thing left to do is practice it. Remember, preparation is the true antidote to fear. You've got this.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks so much for listening, and good luck with your introductions.
Goodbye, everyone.